So it is almost the start of the 2025 season, which means we're going to do some predictions. So it's going to be Pozza using his level head, Kelly being completely delusional, and me being somewhere in between the two. So, what we're going to cover in this is Rookie of the Year in each class, the top three, and also the biggest surprise of the season. So we're going to start with the Rookie of the Year for Moto 3. I don't know who wants to go first, but who do we think is going to be taking that?
I think it's going to be quite obvious what we're going to go for, but I've gone with Carpe, Alvaro Carpe. I think he's going to be the fastest of them all. All the rookies that are coming into Moto3, I think he's just absolutely going to be the quickest out of a lot of them. He was quick last year in Rebel Rookies. Yeah, I think it's just too obvious. I feel like you two are going to go for the same, and I genuinely think he could be a title contender if all goes well for him. So yeah, Alvaro Carpe is my pick.
Well, I imagine Poz is probably going to go the same, but I'm not. I cannot pronounce their first name because I am terrible at pronunciations, but I'm going with Peony. Or is it Penny? Either way, I've managed to stuff it up. But I just I love Carpe and I think he's incredibly talented. I just think it's going to be a little bit more challenging. And I also do think that having the intact support behind him is just going to be a little bit, you know, better off for Peony. So, yeah, I have not gone for Carpe. I've gone for Peony. Pause.
Yeah, I've gone the same as Kelly. I went Carpe as well for similar reasoning. Just he did pretty well in one race he did at the end of the year last year, and again, just the way that he won pretty comfortably both Rookies Cup and Junior GP, along with the fact that he's with the IO team, which have they've shown in the past that even with rookies they can bring some level of success. I did have Guido Pini as sort of my second pick, but I still think Carpe will just have the edge over him.
Well, I'm definitely outnumbered for Moto 3 predictions. My Moto 2 Rookie of the Year prediction is possibly a little bit surprising because I've gone for Danny Holgado. I know he doesn't seem like the obvious choice. I just think it's interesting and the package could be a winning combination. So I'm holding out hope. A lot of people are probably going to go for the obvious, David Alonso, but I just think his size is going to hamper him a bit more than people realize. So, yeah, I've gone with Holgado. How about the two of you?
Let's be honest. I think you all know what way I'm swinging today. Um, it's at this point, it is like half delusion, but like it's half not as well. I do genuinely think he could adjust to this bike a bit better. It's new. It's no longer an intact bike. Red Bull KTM has always been quite, well, not always, but has been quite a good team in the last few years in Moto2. So it's not like he's going on to a very bad bike. I genuinely think he could do quite well, and I hope he does. So yeah, Colin Farrell.
For my rookie of the year for Moto 2, I've gone for someone a little bit different. I've actually gone for Adrian Huertas coming over from Supersport. Uh, Won the World Supersport title last year, I believe, and looking at the testing that's just come past, he was the top rookie. So I think he'll be in the fight. He'll know not all of the tracks, but he'll have some idea of how some of them go. Obviously, with World Superbike experience, so I think he'll be a good pick. Hopefully, he'll be up there, and he might be someone like Manu Gonzalez.
So, we've all gone for different riders for Moto 2, which is a bit refreshing because I was a little bit worried that we were all going to be samesies, especially after Moto 3 as well. For MotoGP, I'm going to say, pause, you go first because you haven't gone first yet. Who are you picking as Rookie of the Year in the big boy category of MotoGP?
Yeah, I feel like it could be quite close between two or three of them, depending on how many there is. There might only be three, but I feel like it'll be quite close between Ayagura and Fermin Aldeguer, but I feel like Ayagura will just get the edge over him with a bit more experience. I think they've both looked quite strong during testing as well, but Agura just a bit more so. But yeah, I feel like it'll be close between those two, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if Aldeguer manages to pip him being on the better bike. But yeah, I think it'll be a fight between those two. Unfortunately, with Chantra on a Honda.
I'll be honest, I've gotten the exact same with the exact same logic. I do think Furman Aldeguer will be quite close. I think he'll still get some good points. I think he'll have a good season. Definitely a better one than he had in Moto 2, but Ayagura just almost dominated the Moto 2 championship. He's been just too quick. He's been just too quick. I think he can adjust very well to these bikes, and yeah, I think Ayagura is gonna snatch it.
I was thinking of going for Ayagura. However, I'm gonna go for Firmenaudiger. And the fact that Chantra is on a Honda is, yeah, the reason that we're not going there for him, basically. It's nothing to do with him as a rider. It's just during the Bangkok reveal of MotoGP, the Honda had technical issues. And I don't know if it was Luca Marini or Joan Mir. One of them had to get a ride on the back of the other's bike. So that pretty much sums Honda up at the moment. But I think Fermin Aldeguer, I think that Ducati is just spectacular. The fact that the factory guys are sticking with it, and based on testing, we're going to have the same engine with some tweaks rather than a whole new 2025 package. I think that helps Aldeguer's chances as well. So, yeah, I'll try and be a little bit different. It's not my delusion talking, honestly. Other than Rookie of the Year, we're going with possibly the more challenging predictions of the top three in each class. So, whoever wants to give it a go first, go ahead. But who's your top three for Moto 3?
I don't actually have them in order for who I think is going to win and who I think is going to come third. I think it's kind of like a top three overall, and then we see how it moves into it. But I actually I have for Moto 3, I have Devin Munoz, Jose Antonio Rueda, and Angel Baqueras. I think they were just too good. Angel Baqueras was really quick in his rookie season. I think he could definitely pull off even if he tries really hard, I think he can pull off a championship win, but I think he's going to be very, very close to it. And yeah, I think they're just going to be dominating over everyone else.
Yeah, I've gone for something quite similar, but I've made a late change just because I'm pretty sure I had the exact same thing. So in P3, I've gone who I originally thought would be in fourth and gone Adrian Fernandez just because of his sort of late season form. Uh, and if Honda keep up their sort of improvements that they've been making recently and getting a bit closer to KTM, I think they'll be up there. And the top two is the same. I've gone for Jose Antonio Rueda in second and Angel Piqueras in first. Uh, might be a bit of delusion on my side just because I'm quite a big Rueda fan and I hope he does well this year. I know I said the same thing last year and it didn't really come to fruition, but hopefully he can do a bit better this year. And Piqueras is just sort of the obvious pick this year, I feel.
Well, the two of you have made me think I'm putting too much faith in Honda here. I've gone with Tayo Furusato in P3. I think he's gonna be strong this year. P2, I've gone with Adrian Fernandez. He was looking really good at the end of last year, and I just think he's going to continue that mentality. I don't know if it's World Championship material. I think he'll still be in Moto 3 in 2026, realistically, but you never know. But I think we've all gone for the same for number one. And as always, we do accept bribes for not cursing riders. So apologies in advance to Angel Piqueras because we have all put him for world champion in Moto 3. So, but for Moto 2, I will go first. I had a hard time, like a proper hard time trying to figure out what order to put them in, and I'm not confident in my predictions at all for Moto 2. But in P3, I've gone for Diogo Morera. In P2, I've gone for Aaron Canet, and P1, I have gone for Manu Gonzalez. I really wanted to put Canet in P1, but I also thought that it was. I don't want to be that person who curses their favourite rider. I did it to Aldegar last year. I'm not going to do it to Canet this year. So those are mine. What about you two?
Once again, I've kind of gone for a situation where I didn't actually put them in numbers, but just for a laugh, I'm going to do that right now. So in third, I actually have put Celestino Vietti. Um, if he was quite injury prone last year, but I feel like if he can come past that, he can definitely be quick on that speed up bike. In second, I have gone for Aaron Canet because I'm just evil like that. I would just enjoy it a lot. It'd be really funny to me, sorry. And then, but I do think he can be quick enough to get second again. And then in first, I have actually gone for Manu Gonzalez. I think considering what we thought of him at the start of the season, he wasn't really anywhere. He managed to come back like he managed an insane comeback, and I do think he can manage that again and hopefully fight for the title. So that's my delusion going, and I hope he gets the title this year.
Yeah, I've gone somewhat similar to you guys, I feel. In third, I've gone for Tony Arbolino, just because he'll be on a Boscoscuro this year, and that might just be the change he needs to sort of find some consistency, though I'm still not entirely convinced that the Boscoscuro is the more superior chassis now. I feel like Calyx have kind of caught up. But in second, I've also gone for Aaron Canet, just because it's his favourite position to finish. Why wouldn't he want to finish there in the championship? That's my logic. And winning the title, I believe, will be Celestino Vietti, just because, again, he's on the Boscoscuro. I feel like if he can find some consistency, same as Avelino, he'll be in with a fight. I feel like he was a lot better last year than his championship position sort of represented, I guess. And yeah, I think he'll have a good year.
And we apologise to Aaron Canet for putting him in P2. Even though he's won races now, it's just going to be the meme that lasts, I suppose. So that's Moto 3 and Moto 2 predictions out of the way. The class that's, I guess, a little bit more predictable is MotoGP. And Poz, it is your turn to go first. So who have you picked?
Yeah, I feel like we've all probably gone quite similar, apart from maybe the one in third. Uh, I've gone for the Gian Antonio, Fabio de Gian Antonio, uh, for the sole reason that he's on a GP25, even though I don't feel like it'll change that much from last year's bike. I still feel like if he can stay fit for the entire year, I feel like he'll be kind of just trailing behind the top two, who obviously will be some combination of Pecco Bagnaia and Marc Marquez for all of us, I'd imagine. Uh, I feel like I'm probably going to be the different one here in putting Marquez in second and Bagnaia in first. I think the level of competition could do him some good and might sort of hopefully whittle out some of the mistakes that he makes when he's been put under a bit of pressure. And yeah, I think Ducati will be working with him to sort of ensure that happens.
I was similar, but I have changed it a small bit. So in third, as much as I really, really did want to put Marco Bezzecchi, he's on an Aprilia. It's really not going to happen, and I do need to get that through my head. So I think this is the best way to do it. I for third, I have shockingly put Pedro Acosta. Now I know KTM has been having their financial troubles, but Pedro had a really, really good rookie season. He finished sixth out of so many grown men in his rookie season, and I do genuinely believe he can get past that and do well in his second season. So I have put him third. Second, oh, this was hard, but just for fun and a little bit of drama, I have put Pecca Bagnaia in second and Marc Marquez in first. I'm sorry, I've done it. I've done it. Um, call Kelly Curse if you want. Call me a witch if you want. I don't care. I do think it's gonna happen, and I hope it will happen. So that's my top three from MotoGP.
I'm gonna go something a little bit different for my number 3. I was gonna go Pedro Acosta, but I'm gonna make a bold prediction and trust in that Aprilia, and I trust that Marco Bezzecchi is gonna be in P3, which is a bit interesting. I honestly thought I'd say Jorge Martin when I started that statement, but alas, Bezzecchi looked good in testing. But as Poz predicted, I've gone for Pecco in P2 and also Mark in P1. I just think after testing, he looks so, so strong. And that's, yeah, I just think it's going to be Mark's year. It could be my complete Mark fangirl because we all know I'm a huge Mark Marquez fan. And I need this redemption era. I know we did get it a bit last year, but I just need a little bit more. I need him to get that extra world title. I'd like 2 more, but I'll take 1. So our final prediction of the year is the biggest surprise in any of the classes, but the biggest surprise, the thing that you don't think we'll see coming, or we've just started to see the signs of it. Who wants to go first?
For all three classes, I feel like most of us will have the same. I have Yamaha. I think they're going to make such a jump this year in general development. Like if you look at Yamaha compared to Honda, there hasn't been much of an upgrade in Honda. They're kind of stuck where they are. They haven't moved up across the season. But Yamaha did actually fluctuate and improve multiple times. So I think they're going to make a lot of improvement this year, especially having a second team within Pramac. So that means more riders, more data, easier to upgrade. And yeah, I just pray to the high heavens because I need Fabio Quartararo back in good finishing positions. Please.
I'm going to go a rider rather than a manufacturer, although I absolutely would love for Yamaha to be up there and hopefully the signs we've seen in testing are positive. But I'm going for Ivan Guevara. I just think he's with a new team in Moto 2 and I'm hopeful. There's so much talent and so much potential there. I just think we haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen the end of his talent. So, fingers crossed and toes crossed. It's just, yeah, I'm hoping that Eisen really brings it this year. And obviously, Pramac think he can. So, that's my hopeful surprise of the season.
I was originally going to go for Yamaha as well, but I decided to make a late change just to be a bit more different again. I'm going to go a group of Moto3 riders, and that group will involve Joel Kelso, Jacob Ralston, and Cormac Buchanan. I think they'll all, especially Kelso being the more experienced of them, but hopefully they'll all have good seasons. Ralston misses a couple of rounds at the start, but I'm hoping that he comes back stronger than he has been, gets some good results. Uh, I don't feel like there's a lot of expectation on Buchanan, especially being a rookie, but I still think he'll do really well. Got a teammate up against him who is also a rookie, so hopefully they'll sort of feed off of each other and pick the bike up very quickly and, yeah, start competing in the points.
I sense absolutely no bias from you at all, and I fully support this big surprise. I think it'd be sensational, and I would absolutely adore to see MotoGP content from the 3 of them. It was quite fun, and I feel like it could be quite a nice little bubbling Australasian friendship. So those are our utter delusion with a little bit of hopefulness in there. Thank you for joining us. We're super excited because it is almost time for the bikes to be back on track and racing. So we'll be doing our Thailand preview show next week. Let us know if you think that we are completely delusional And if you think that we have completely cursed Manu Gonzalez. But hopefully we haven't. But we also do accept bribes. But for now, have a wonderful week.